Okay, I'm planning a book discussion group that's based kind of thinly on a program I used to do at Cochise College for the Elder Hostel program. It was called Books, People, and Ideas. But this one is based upon three books, a discussion group that will talk about three books. And one of them is always going to be a kind of classic, a major work by a major writer. And the other two may or may not be, but they will all be connected, I hope, by themes. And this first theme is really timely for us today because it deals with terrorism and secret agents. It deals with plots, revolutionary style that pit the lower classes, or the working class, as the English would prefer to call it, and the upper class and the aristocracy, because it's not very common that such revolutionary types of books were written in the 19th century. In 1882, Henry James, who's not noted for books dealing with the working class, his subject matter almost always dealt with the upper classes, the aristocracy, the comfortable upper middle class. And this second book, I should back up. That book's title is Princess Casamassima, and the hero of the book is a young man whose mother was a prostitute, a French prostitute, and his father was an English nobleman. And that gives you the two classes of people right there. And then his name, by the way, was Hyacinth, which is a very unlikely name for a young man. But on the other hand, he was very much of a working class person with a very good brain. Now, in the second book, The Secret Agent by Joseph Conrad deals with foreigners living in England who have a subversive attitude toward the upper classes. And it's about a plot to cause a disruption of society. Following Conrad, we will take up a novel by a man named Graham Greene, who is a modern writer, died only a few years ago, and wrote groups of books that were two types of books that he called them. His one serious novel that very seriously developing conflicts between serious conflicts of ideas, but sometimes dealing with religion. But his book that we'll be studying will be one of his entertainments, but it's dealing with the same plot, the same kind of characters, the same kind of conflicts, but it's set in a time of period right before World War II, but mainly emphasizing the Spanish Civil War, with England and the United States and France and most of Europe tried to avoid any conflict with. It tried to have, in fact, our Congress passed laws to prohibit any involvement in the Spanish Civil War. And it was a civil war between fascist Franco and the socialist rebels who were strongly influenced by Soviet Union. In fact, George Orwell tells us a very great story about that in his big homage to Catalonia. But on the other hand, I saw this as a connection of not only the men's lives themselves, because Conrad and James were very close friends, and then Graham comes along and he's very dependent upon the books and ideas of Conrad for his own work. And I'd like to use this as a framework for a book discussion where we sit down and read the books, talk about them informally, and do as much as we possibly can to understand what these authors are really trying to tell us.
When will this take place, Joe? Is it a weekly?
Well, it's going to take place in the Copper Queen Library,
Yeah.
and right now it's in its planning stages as to how long the sessions will be and when they will occur and when they will begin. The Copper Queen Library is planning to provide funds to supply the books for the readers, and that will be discussed, and I'm sure there will be an article in the paper that will explain all this. But the three books, if you're interested, are going to be Princess Casamassima, a book that is not very popular among the readers of Henry James, but later on became seriously accepted. And then then followed that, it was a smaller book, very tight story by Conrad called Secret Agent, and then the Graham Greene Secret Confidential Agent, which, by the way, made a movie in the 1945 with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, one of her earliest movies. Pretty good movie, by the way. I don't know if you can find it on Netflix or whatever it is, but The Confidential Agent is a really good, stirring movie. Peter Lorre, George Sanders, Lauren Bacall, Katina Paxanu. Oh, what a cast. And it's really worth watching if you get a chance. But the novel is better. In this case, it happens very often that the novel's better. It's because it includes a lot of subplots that get you very deeply involved. Anyway, this is a very good opportunity for me to talk about something I love to talk about. Thank you very much.